All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday, the 18th. All right, so don't forget we got the Fed today. We're going to hear from Powell, and that all kicks off around 1 o'clock Central. So my assumption is might be a little bit quiet between now and then. But all right, so folks in the Essentials room, grab a link here for you. No, actually, I already got a link there on the alerts, and then folks on YouTube, let me drop this in the chat here. All right, so looking at the rankings, nothing has really changed. The lack of breadth, I think, becomes a lot more apparent. Looking at the indexes here, QQQ gets a 112 out of 120. It's a really strong, really good score. In second place, we have the S&Ps with only a 50. It's a pretty big drop off. We go from 112 to a 50. And then in third place, we have the IWM with a 2, right? A 2 out of 120. Dow Jones, a giant 0, and then the RSP, a negative 15. More of the same. It paints a picture of we've got a market of like 5 or 6 stocks. And those 5 or 6 stocks are pretty much the big boys here. Apple, Tesla, Broadcom, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, TSM, Meta, Netflix. I do think it's gapping up this morning, but Nvidia's been a little iffy, right? And then looking down here at the sectors, healthcare negative 85, not good. Energy, biotech, real estate, utilities, transports, industrials. It's pretty much big tech or nothing. Not a problem until it's a problem. Major thing we got to keep in mind is a pretty good chunk of current leadership, like in Amazon, a Google, an Apple, and Netflix, they've already made pretty big moves. You've got a few like like a Microsoft, like a TSM. They're more so gearing up for what could be a big move, but yeah, it makes for an interesting dynamic, and it also makes for the S&Ps. Pretty much just trapped in a box here. So into the Fed, into the end of the week, into January. 2 levels here for you, 6,000 and 6,100. We got the previous highs up there at 61. We have the spot gamma call wall. My thinking would be they get through the 61. That could give us the final little bit of oomph for a blow off top kind of situation. And then of course 6,000 is a big big round number, and we haven't tested that at any point here for the month of December. Right, but we're trapped in a box. So the key here is, when you've got that daily chart trapped in a box, ideally we're trying to find 4-hour squeeze, 2-hour squeeze, something that a couple of days down the road might get a decent move going. And we're in luck, we got a 4-hour squeeze. Right, and I'm not calling for, today, tomorrow, next week, but when that 4-hour squeeze fires, pretty good chance that'll be the next decent move we're getting for the overall market. So keep an eye on that bad boy, and then we'll get working through a few of the names here. Right now in the room, we are long TSM, we are long Meta, and we got a little GameStop. Before I show you those, let me grab the weekly. All right, couple of things I would love to buy on a pullback. We'll find out if I'm lucky enough to get that. One would be Apple. And we had a really good trade here in Apple this month. But I'm looking at it, and from one angle, I've got to respect the fact that in a couple of weeks, handful of weeks, it's a pretty big time move. 220 into 250 and change. Maybe in the short term, Apple could be due for a bit of a breather. Maybe pulls back a bit, maybe chops sideways. So that's the short term. In the short term, I got to respect the fact it's come a long way pretty quickly. But then bigger picture from a squeeze perspective, they build up all the energy from October into November into December. The weekly squeeze just fired. In most cases, again, bigger picture doesn't mean we're getting it right from here, but bigger picture, you should be able to call for a little bit more than what that weekly squeeze is currently giving us. Rule of thumb that JC teaches, they fire a good squeeze. You're trying to call for a good, 5, 8, maybe 10 bars of momentum. Shorter term, I'm not too, I'm not jumping out of bed in the morning over the idea of buying it up here. Knowing, all right, yeah, we're in a market where I could buy it up here at third ATR. They might keep on pushing it. That might be a good entry. 8 or 9 times out of 10, I want to wait for a flush. Then we shall take it from there. But bigger picture, I do think, we get a good flush and they handle that flush. We try to call for a bit more. And then pretty much along the same exact lines here would be the big Google. Short term, $1.70 into $200. It's really, really good stuff. Bigger picture squeeze point of view, the weekly squeeze just fired. Maybe I don't want to buy it, with a bunch of crazy size up here. One thing I definitely can do is try to call for a top. Calling for a top in a weekly squeeze just fired. That's basically, you're back here calling for a top on Google on that candle. Now, to be fair, they pop it, couple of weeks of sideways, but eventually, a lot of continuation from that big weekly squeeze. I want Apple on a flush. I want the Google on a flush, and then I would like the, look at an Amazon, look at the Netflix. Now, granted, as far as what can we call for from a weekly squeeze, Google, Apple may be a little bit more fresh. Admittedly, Amazon it got the job done. Build up the energy for about 22 to 23 weeks. Finally fire the squeeze, break it out. They trigger the push. Yeah, I could buy Amazon in a pullback, but not so much of the thinking of, hey, here's a spot where they're gearing up for a fresh move. You're about a month into that squeeze firing. But I would like it on a pullback. I would like Netflix on a pullback. Another one where, yeah, that is, it's already made the easy move out of that weekly squeeze. They fired it back on the October 14th candle. Here we are 2 months later. If you can catch them on a flush, I like it. And then moving on to Tesla. All right, so notice Tesla's gapping down $10 today. 10 or 12 bucks, 48, 480 back to about 468. Put that in its proper perspective. The incoming $12, $13 gap down doesn't even pull Tesla back to the third ATR. Right? When price is at that green line, we're pretty overbought. Doesn't mean we can't keep on going higher, but probabilities wise, you already had the easier part of that push. When they can gap it down 10 bucks and you're still above that extension, that is a special kind of beast. But acknowledge the fact that they could gap it down. And I know it sounds dramatic, but they could gap it down $80 today. Nothing changes as far as that daily chart. It's a pullback to a 21 EMA. Nothing too bearish about that. So not too much for you on the Tesla right now. And then quick look here at Microsoft, then we'll jump over to NVIDIA. So for Microsoft, I like the weekly squeeze, and the major thing, guys, is this is all kind of contingent on The market not falling apart. Could be the Google idea, could be Apple, could be really any of the ideas we discuss. If we don't have a good market behind them, they're not going to work. Into January, February, March, we have a good market. I think at some point Microsoft is trying to take that weekly squeeze. Now here's the key: a weekly squeeze in the context of a weekly uptrend. I think it could be a lot like back here and a lot like back there. You're in a really good uptrend. Pull back to support, catch in the breath, build up the squeeze, and then we get in that good action. Pull back, little chop, they do it again, pull back, little chop. If they fire that squeeze, if they break it out, I think we're eventually looking up, and Microsoft is a $490 to $500 stock. So I'm thinking get through the Fed today. That might be a pickup for us. And then moving on to the semiconductors. Nvidia has been a little problematic as of late. Looking like a good $3 to $4 gap up this morning. Bigger picture. If we jump back to the SMH here, in terms of things, I think might be setting up for a big move into. We'll call it Q1, Q2. The SMH is pretty much at the top of that watch list. Big weekly squeeze, big 3-day squeeze, a 2-day squeeze, and a daily squeeze. Now it could be a January thing, could be a February, March, April thing when they fire. If they're firing to the upside in the direction of the overall trend, which for now I'm going to lean towards thinking they do that. That gets the SMH into 290 to $300. That'll be a beautiful thing for your Broadcoms, your TSMs, LRCX, AMD, all the above. I don't think they can do that, without the big boy NVIDIA. For what it's worth, though, I do like that little pop below the weekly 21 and then the move back above it. Any jabroni getting short there might already be feeling a little heat. That all being said, at the moment, a few things in the group do look better than NVIDIA. One would be Broadcom, which I really can't suggest a fresh entry all the way up here. The one that we bought on Monday, I believe, is TSM. With a little pop into 204-ish coming our way here at the open. But all right, what do I like about that TSM? Good looking daily chart, above the 21 EMA, a buy signal, and the perfect score of 15. We don't have that in NVIDIA. We don't have that in an AMD. But we got it in the Taiwan. More importantly, trying to combine that bullish daily chart with my 3-day squeeze and my 2-day squeeze. And to me, what makes it a little more interesting timing-wise, the group itself, the SMH, you've got a little bit of the same dynamic, bigger time frame squeezes. But I'm not buying a 2-day and a 3-day squeeze trying to call for a bottom. In the context of a downtrend, I'm taking that 2-day, 3-day squeeze, trying to call for a push higher in the context of an uptrend. They tend to want to fire in that overall direction. Right, big 3-day squeeze, big time move. Pull back, we're chopping. 3-day squeeze, nice push. Pull back, we're chopping. Now they might go for it again. So we have got I got a couple of things working here. But for the room trade, we got the February expiration, 210, 220 call debit spreads. We're wrong on the idea back below $1.90. If they can't keep it above the 3-day 21, they're probably not going to fire that squeeze to the upside. Wrong on a break back below 190, and would like to ring the register around that 215, 220-ish. So for now, that is the play on the SMH on our end. And then we also bought a little GameStop yesterday. Not an options trade though. We did it through shares. Good looking 4-hour, good looking daily. We are wrong. Going to break back below 28. Playing for a move into 34 to 35. And I've got about 600 shares at 31 something. All right, yeah. So we got the GameStop, we got the TSM, and then we have a lottery ticket for Friday with a 650 call butterfly for Meta. Now at this point, do I think Meta's getting into 650 by Friday? Not without a big breakout in the market. Looking a little bit beyond, that lottery ticket for Friday. Really good looking 3-day squeeze. Frankly, I don't really care too much about the butterfly. Yeah, sure, we get a 650 pin. Then it's going to be a big trade. But I'm also thinking, they pull it back a little bit. They hold it above that key $600 level. I probably jump in, build up a bigger swing trade. If they can't pay me on the butterfly this Friday, maybe they're paying me a few weeks down the road on a better trade. But that is the handful of trades in our stable. And yeah, folks, anything y'all want to look at, any chart requests, any questions, any comments, complaints, I've got you covered. We'll hang out for a bit, and then quick reminder for all of you that are in my room. I'll be on the mic with y'all today at. Let me do my time zone conversion. I'll be in our room from about 1 p.m. Central to 2 p.m. Central. I just don't think too much will happen here before the man they call Jerome. But all right, what do y'all got? Popeye with the Costco. What's up, Popeye? You eat your spinach there today? Costco. Nothing bad I can really say about it. Earnings are behind it. $21 EMA would be, for me at least, the ideal buy zone. And right now the indicator gives me the permission to look for an entry. Permission comes from, the perfect score of 15. Checking every box, not too far from the buy zone. Okay, now can I take that and then go look for a good entry? Which in my book means I've got a good squeeze, and then I've got really good multi-time frame alignment. And what I mean by the latter is, imagine the market opens up here in a half hour, and immediately at the open, we jump in and we're buying the Costco calls. Right, and we're jumping in, we're buying them around that daily 21 EMA. Well, if we're doing that, guys, what are we looking for? Ideally, immediately, a move exactly like that. Buy it at that 21 EMA, and then big rip almost immediately. If you got the indicators, the more you watch them, the more you'll learn. All right, well, the move off that daily 21, almost every single time a name does that, it all kind of looks the same from the ground up. Meaning, in plain English, the big three signals on the 15-minute, the 30-minute, the hourly, the 2-hour, they all are kind of doing the same thing, whether it be Apple, Google, Nvidia, Costco, when they get that push off that daily 21. So, with that being said, what I spent a lot of time studying is that exact move. For the most part, my favorite trade is that daily squeeze. But I don't think enough to say, hey, here's a good looking daily squeeze. checking all the boxes, near my buy zone. I'm going to jump in and buy it. Might be a good looking daily chart. Nothing about that says, hey, we're pushing tomorrow. So, if we go look back over here, and we'll look at the hourly, but the concept is the same pretty much across the board. Before and during that push off that 21 EMA, what did the indicator look like on the hourly time frame? We want to go figure that out. Then we want to compare it to the current hourly. All right, on the push, right, your buy signals come in right through here. All throughout back there, Costco's doing nothing, even though you have a good-looking daily chart. Then from the ground up, you're getting that turn for a push. 5-minute goes bullish, 15-minute, 30-minute hourly. Right now, they're working a little something. So Costco, I like it. I'd want to buy it above that 21 when I'm getting a decent trigger. It could be a 15-minute buy, 30-minute hourly. But for now, the daily chart says you should be looking to work that game plan. You got the good stuff. And then, we got the earnings for Micron tonight. Yeah, we'll find out if that can shake things up there for Micron and its peers. The theme has been, pop it back above the 200, and then dump it back below, pop it back above, dump it back below. They're kind of playing ping pong here. What could be interesting after earnings is they get it above that 200, they keep it above that 200, and now Micron might become a rogue elephant. Realizes, wait a minute, I am free to roam away from that 200 SMA. Could be one thing to look for there. Hey, good morning, Srini. UPST. Okay, Roland, real quick here. If you go to, let me see. I don't have the blue and red colors on my top right chart. All right, so if you go to the indicator studies, if you go to Big Three Signals MTF, double click on that bad boy. Right, and then that's where we can change the color of the labels. I believe by default, and I'll probably change it in a future update, but I believe by default, neutral is just dark gray. I changed my neutral to the blue. So bear, red, bull, green, blue, neutral. But yeah, you can change that in the settings. All right, get flying through here. UPST. We gotta get Mark Minervini on the phone. I like that daily squeeze. You got a good trend going, little pullback, daily squeeze. You got the hourly, got the 30, got the 15, got the 5. Yeah, nothing bad I can really say about it for now. Above that 21 EMA with a lot of lower time frame buy signals, odds should favor a push back into that 92, 93-ish. Good call out. I like it. Yeah, Parzival. So we're going to get that on the indicator page as soon as possible. But for the time being, if you go to log on to the Simpler website, go to your classes. We did a session. I want to say it was last week or the week beforehand. Kind of walking through all the recent updates, all that good stuff. You'll find that under my classes. Big Three Squeeze Workshop, something like that. Open up that tab. When you open up that tab, there should be a button to enter that classroom. Go into that classroom, and then on the files tab in that room, There's a document for the updated squeeze watch list and the updated score watch list. But yeah, I'm gonna get that on the website for y'all ASAP in its proper place on the indicator page. And then, hey Lou, is there a video showing how to transfer scores from the TOS watch list to the Google sheet? I know we have one. I'm trying to think, where would that be? Lou, I tell you what, let me put a note here. Find video for importing scores to Google Sheet. Yeah, when I hop off here, let me go find where that video is. And then I'll touch bases back here in the room with you and help you find that. I do know we got one out there somewhere. It does exist. Yeah, AJ brings up a good point. That could be on the class page as well. Yeah, thanks, Mirza. All right, folks on YouTube, let me pop my head over here. Good morning, good morning. Hey, Thomas, good morning, Grace. Hey, Art, enjoy that Cybertruck. Very cool, man. Very, very cool. Yeah, good morning, Grace. Praveen, do you mean the formula for the Big Ten, like the Big Ten index, so to say? If you're referring to that basket, yeah, let me grab that for you here. And I'll put this in both rooms. Am I doing on time? I'm doing all right. All right, put that in the YouTube chat, and then I'll put that in the essentials room. If you follow Sam, he has his Mag 7 index. This is pretty much the same idea. Copy and paste this into a Thinkorswim ticker search box, if that makes any sense. But yeah. So copy up that entire thing, and then open up your TOS, open up your platform. Not too sure if it works off of TOS, but paste that into Control V up here. Okay, now what this is a weighted index with these 10 names, which make up my primary watch list: Apple, Tesla, Broadcom, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, TSM, Meta, Netflix, and Nvidia. It's kind of the QQQ with a little bit less fluff. But how did I know coming into November, December, etc., things might be lining up for a big move in my favorite names? So looking at it on a weighted index perspective, look at my daily chart. A plus daily squeeze, A plus daily squeeze. Look at the weekly. Late October, we're getting the first heads up. Maybe not all of them, but collectively, names in that Big Ten group, right? They're shaping up for a big move. We haven't gotten that dynamic in energy, industrials, healthcare, utilities, biotech. This has been the spot to be. So yeah, if y'all want to follow along with that, that is the code there for you. All right, couple more minutes here. Hey DQ, what's up, big dog? Always good to see you, man. The tree himself. Remember that basketball game on a good foot and a half of snow? Honeywell, I like Honeywell here if they can get the MACD back above 0. A much bigger example, but this is kind of like Bitcoin on the weekly chart where everything lines up for a big breakout except that momentum turn. And what that blue arrow says is, hey, here's your first heads up. You have everything you're looking for on the checklist except momentum. Here's the key, though. You got that heads up back here on Bitcoin. They never got the MACD back above zero. Little push, and they work it back down. 20 something weeks later, they finally get that cross. Then you're getting the big breakout. So for Honeywell, right now we're getting that heads up, which implies in most cases, if they can get that positive shift, should be in good shape for a breakout there. All right, couple more here, guys. Affirm and Celsius. Affirm, I really like it. I like the pattern. I like the brand new daily squeeze. Now what I need would be just a couple of things from the inside out telling me I can buy it right now. On that move from your 21 EMA back here into 65 to 66 bucks. Throughout that move, you have a crap load of lower time frame buy signals. At the moment, right, despite a really good looking daily chart, we don't have any lower time frame buy signals. I can trade the daily, but that'd be my trigger to do that. Here comes a 15-minute buy signal. Here comes a 30. All right, now I got a couple of things saying, all right, jump in. Might be gearing up for a push right here, right now. Good call, that. I like that a lot, though. Very nice. All right, and then the final one here for the Shimonen will be Celsius. So you've got a lot of squeezes. A 3-day, a 2-day, a daily, a 4-hour, a 2-hour. As far as taking the squeezes and calling for direction, a little tricky right now. What I don't love at all, and nothing to do with Celsius, I don't like it on anything, are these moments in time where, a lot like back here, we're kind of trapped between a rock and a hard place. All right, Bulls can't get it back above the 50. We're not quite strong enough. Bears can't really get it below that 21. We're not weak enough. All right, we're popping, we're dropping. It's a lot of meaningless noise, which I found, for me at least, if I try to operate in that, I'm pretty prone to losing my shirt. Then they get the clear break, couple of closes below that level. That all kicks off a better directional move. And right now, I think you're getting a little bit of the same kind of ping pong. All right, below the 21, back above it, above the 50, back below it. Just makes it a tough read as far as, for a short-term trade, I want to be long or short. But with respect to the scoring system, a daily chart with a -4, I definitely couldn't buy that. Doesn't mean I got to short it, but I couldn't buy it. But all right, y'all, I'm going to jump off the mic here, make room for the next presenter. But yeah, as always, thank you for all your time and effort. And then, yeah, for the folks listening here on YouTube, in the main room right now at Simpler, we're doing an open house. We kicked it off yesterday. It goes through today and then all through tomorrow. It's free. Come check it out. You get access to the main room. I'll be in there later. You get Henry, you get JC, you get Sam, you get Cody, you get all of the characters that make up the Simpler team here. So if you go to the website, you should find a link for that. Check it out. I'll be in there later. And yeah, I hope to see you. But otherwise, have a great day. Have a great week. And then final piece of housekeeping here. We get a weird week next week. Okay, yeah. So we're not gonna do the no pre-market call next Wednesday, being that there's no pre-market. But I will. I'll catch up with y'all on Monday. All right. Thank you again. Adios.